What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And the Phillies, they do their jobs this weekend. They do take 2 of 3 from the Miami Marlins, even though they were in a position to sweep the series. They had a chance to come back in that top of the ninth inning, and maybe not the best decision in the world to bunt with Bryson Stott because it ended kind of poorly. And Kyle Schwarber did get the RBI single to bring you within 1. Bryce Harper can't, get the ball out of the infield, end the game there. You lose by a score of 5-4. And just overall, I'm not going to kill them for this final game. No, that overall, I asked coming into the series, win 2 of 3, and you did that exact job. It also does help that the Mets lost their series against the Cincinnati Reds 2 of 3. So realistically, if you're going into this Mets series once again, you're basically at square one from where you were a couple of weeks ago going into Citi Field. You were 7 games up on the Mets going into that series, and now you're 7 games up on the Mets once again coming into this 4-game set at Citizens Bank Park. But the one thing that will linger and does sour a little bit, not the entire series, just for today in general, is that Trea Turner is injured. Trea Turner gets injured. He reached on base on a throwing error, and then he instantly took himself out of the game, went right to the trainer, went right into the clubhouse. Immediately, I guess he felt something was off and everything like that. Trea Turner did have an off day yesterday, so I'm not sure if there's any connection to that. Because I do remember there was, some people were saying there was an awkward, way he stepped on the bag during Friday's game or something like that. Maybe that's why he got the day off yesterday. He has a solo shot in today's game. He just continued to be consistent as he's always been. One of the more consistent bats in this lineup for a very long time now. And now he's hurt. And they're saying it's a hamstring strain. And we don't know the extent of it. And we don't know how much time he's going to miss. Right now, he's just going to be further evaluated. And we have to wait and see what the Phillies come back with. At this point, I'm assuming he's not going to play in the entirety of the Mets series, so I'm assuming you're just already penciling out Trea Turner from making an appearance this entire series. And that definitely hurts you at that point because you have a Kyle Schwarber that is still struggling, has not hit a home run in a very long time, still looking to get that 50th home run. Bryce Harper, he's very up and down. He has his very good moments, but then he has his very ugly moments. He did have a home run in this series, but overall hasn't been uber consistent. He's been, like I said, very up and down Bryce. Bader continues to be very good. Marsh continues to swing a hot bat. He's actually getting more hot as the past couple of games go on. Alec Boehm's in the middle of a very bad slump. He's just constantly hitting in the double plays, constantly hitting ground balls, can't get shit out of the infield and all that stuff. Bryson Stott continues to be consistent. Max Kepler, actually, when you plug him in right field, is an all-star, but any other position that you plug him into, he's been Max Kepler of the entire season. But for some reason, when he plays in right field, he is fantastic. Nick Castellanos didn't play in 2 of the games in this series. He played in the final game. And overall, it was a good series for the Phillies. First game, exploded for a lot of offense. Christopher Sanchez was good. Yesterday, they got to Sandy Alcantara early. They just weren't able to cash in a lot with runners in scoring position. They got 4 runs off of him, but they weren't, they had a lot of chances the rest of the game to really put it away. But Jesus Luzardo, he went 6 strong innings, allowed 2 earned runs. His command got all over the place as the game continued. Like the first time through the lineup, he dominated. But as he got through second, third time through the lineup, you could tell that the command wasn't a little bit there. He walked 4 batters, but he got out of some jams, got out of some trouble a lot. Defense did help him too, and he managed to go 6 innings and he figured it out, which turned out to be a pretty strong start for him. Taijuan Walker in today's game, he went 6 innings, but he allowed 4 runs in the bottom of the first, which really put you in a hole, and really had to keep calling back through the entire game. So that really hurt you in that sense. He did go 6 innings, which did save a lot of the back end of your bullpen. You did use Kerkering in today's game, I believe, for only 1 batter or something like that. Alvarado allows a solo shot to give the Marlins that 5th run in the game. Then you use the rest of the bullpen. Mize loads the bases. Trevino comes in. He gets out of that jam, surprisingly. And you did have that chance in the top of the 9th inning, but you got the 1 run. The bunt by Bryson Stott was not a good decision, in my personal opinion. And you end up taking 2 of 3, which it could have been a sweep, but I won't kill them for that because overall it ends in a pretty good road trip. You go 4-2 in the series against Milwaukee and Miami combined. I take that as a good road trip. The Mets continue to lose their series, and now you go into a series which basically decides the National League East, this 4-game set here with the Phillies and the Mets. You win. Basically, I know people are going to say, oh, you just have to win 2 of these games. That's basically it. And you probably really solidify things. You need to take 3. You do need to take 3 in this series, but not having Trea Turner possibly really hurts. That means more people are going to have to step up. You really need the Kyle Schwarber to get out of this slump. He really needs to get out of this slump, and hopefully coming back to Citizens Bank Park wakes him out of that slump. You need Bryce Harper to be his best form, and then Marsh continues to do what he's doing. Bader continues to do what he's doing. Like, you really need Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper in this series, because those are the 2 that, like, really no-showed against the Mets in Citi Field. Like, we need those guys to have a very good series, an insanely good series. If you were, like, now I'm not saying the Mets are going to sweep the Phillies in Philadelphia. I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. I think the Phillies do take 2 at least in this series. But it does really hurt the fact that you do lose Trea Turner, and we're just going to have to see where the evaluation goes. I'm just not expecting him to play in this series against the Mets. I just don't see that happening right now. So it's really just a wait-and-see thing. Realistically, the Mets could have got swept against Cincinnati, because the Mets, Edwin Diaz, he loaded the bases up in the bottom of the 9th with no outs, and the Reds could not find a way to put a ball in play to get a run home at all. So realistically, if it wasn't for that, the Mets would have got swept in that series against Cincinnati, and you probably would have had an 8-game lead going into the series tomorrow. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? But starting pitching-wise, you're going to have Ranger, you're going to have Sanchez, you're going to have Luzardo in this series. I think Aaron Nola pitches tomorrow as well, and not really looking forward to that to see what he has. Really need a good version of Aaron Nola tomorrow. Like, he needs to have his best start. Like, I know basically none of us are confident in Aaron Nola tomorrow. That's why the offense really needs to show up. Because you just don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Nola in any of his starts. He's been getting whacked around in the first inning, but then he finds a way to settle in. It's just that he allows way too many runs in that first inning. But you need your top guys to step up in this series, specifically Schwarber and Harper. Specifically, Schwarber and Harper need to step up in this series. But you did do a good job this week, going 4-2 on this road trip against a very good Milwaukee team. And more so, you could say it's a trap series against Miami, which in years past the Phillies would have fell for the trap. They do win this series, which is a very good thing to do. So you do have some momentum going into this Mets series, and the Mets really don't have much because they've been losing, like the Mets always have been. So what have the Mets been doing recently, honest to God? Well, they lost that 3 of 4 against Miami. Then they won the 2 of 3 against Detroit. Then they lost the 2 of 3 against Cincinnati. So you can say that the Cincinnati series for the Mets was a trap series, and they fell for the trap. So we'll just see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. That's really the only part right there. So I'm going to keep refreshing Twitter. We're going to go over the series and see if we can see anything that comes back for Trea Turner. I don't think there's anything right now. So I'm not sure if Rob Thompson's going to say anything post-game, if they have any update on Trea Turner. I'm probably not expecting anything from Trea Turner for either until tonight or till they get back to Philadelphia tomorrow. Maybe they're doing it right now. I'm not entirely sure. So it just sucks because Trea Turner has been swinging a very good bat for basically a while now. So that's the one thing that sucks. So let's go back to this entire series. Let's go back to Friday, where the Phillies offense really exploded, especially with the long ball. They hit 4 home runs in that game. Brandon Marsh had a home run. Kepler had a home run. Bader had a home run. And who else there? Bryson Stott had a home run in that game. A lot of from the bottom of the lineup as well. So that was a very good, fun contest there. Christopher Sanchez was very good. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He only threw 82 pitches, but he does go 7 innings. So very good stuff right there. Tanner Banks did struggle out of the bullpen, but then Miza came in to basically just close the game down when the game was out of reach. And just going through the entirety of this game, the Phillies did go up 1-0 in the top of the first. Trea Turner, Kyle Schwarber with leadoff singles. Harper then singles to bring home Trea Turner. JT then flies out, and then Marsh lines into a double play to end the inning, so meat left on the bones. But then Max Kepler hits a solo shot in the top of the second inning to give you a 2-0 lead. Marlins get a run in the bottom of the third off of a double. And then the Phillies really do answer in the top of the fourth. JT with a leadoff single. Gets the second on a wild pitch. Brandon Marsh hits a 2-run shot to make it 4-1, and then Harrison Bader hits the solo shot to left field, which became the biggest talking point probably of the entire weekend, where you had to witness a Karen completely go bonk. A Phillies fan, might I add, a Phillies fan Karen go after a couple of other Phillies fans because the guy that caught the ball brought it to his son for his birthday, might I add. He was there for his birthday. Him and his family were there for the kid's birthday, and he got a home run ball. So that's like one of the best birthday presents you could probably get right there. And then here comes Miss Karen to say, like, no, the ball landed on us, so that means it's our property, it's our ball, give the ball to us. And you got the husband basically sitting in the background, like the Karen's husband sitting in the background, not doing anything. You can say, like, oh my God, that guy's a bitch. That guy is an absolute bitch. And the father just like hands the ball back to her. But then the best thing of the night, which is the Phillies and the Marlins teaming up to basically give that kid an amazing night. He gets a whole package from the Marlins. He gets to meet Harrison Bader. He gets autographed stuff and everything there. So it ended up being a pretty good night for that guy. And then and then social media just flocked to completely go after this Karen, which was very funny. And that definitely turned into the gigantic talking points of Friday night. It definitely was a weird one. I hate people that act like that. I really do. Zach Campbell might be proud, though. Zach Campbell might be proud for that, Karen, for doing that. Who knows? Gotta take priority of the baseball or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Then you go to the top of the seventh inning. Kepler with an RBI single, Stott with a 3-run home run, actually. Becomes a 9-1 Phillies lead. Marlins, they get a home run in the bottom of the eighth. Became 9-3, then eventually the game ended from there. Go to the lineup from Friday. Trea Turner, he had a very good game. He went 4 for 5. Edmundo Sosa eventually came in. I'm not sure if that was from after Trea Turner reaching first base awkwardly or something like that, or that was just to get him off his feet since the game was out of reach. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just like trying to connect the dots and context clues right here because he didn't play the next day. So I'm just trying to connect the dots here. Kyle Schwarber, he went 2 for 5. Bryce went 1 for 5 with an RBI. JT Realmuto went 1 for 3 with a walk. Brandon Marsh, he went 1 for 4 with a 2-run shot. Bader went 1 for 4 with his solo shot. Kepler 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Bohm 2 for 5. Stott 2 for 4 with a 3-run shot. Phillies went 5 for 13 with runners in scoring position. The home run ball really helped them in Friday's game. And now we go to yesterday's game where they went 4-2 against Sandy Alcantara and Jesus Luzardo on the mound. Luzardo's stat line: 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts on 100 pitches. Definitely, his command was all over the place. Like I said, nowhere close to as dominant as he was against the Braves on Sunday Night Baseball, but still a positive start, I guess you could say, for Luzardo. Probably still wants to be better from there, but he did battle and he got out of a lot of jams, which I do take credit for right there. Phillies did get on the board first in the top of the first inning. Bryce Harper with a 2-out home run gives you, or actually a 2-run shot to give you a 2-0 lead because Kyle Schwarber got hit by a pitch leading off the game. The Marlins, or actually the Phillies, would make it a 4-0 lead. Bader with an RBI single, Stott with a sacrifice fly. You did have more chances. The Marlins did score 2 runs in that bottom of the 4th inning to make it a 4-2 ball game. That's basically where the game would end, or would be right there. JT had a double in the top of the 5th, but then he got doubled up on a very unlucky play. It was a hard hit by Marsh. Shortstop just made a good play on it and doubled up JT. So it was one of those situations. Luzardo gets into another jam in the 5th, gets out of that. Gets into another jam in the 6th, gets out of that. Top of the 7th inning, Stott with a leadoff double, does not come around to score. Bohm grounded into a double play because, of course. Top of the 8th, you get more base runners, nothing happens there. Marsh with a double, Bader with a walk, nothing happens. Then yeah, your bullpen did the job for yesterday's game. Robertson was very good, Strom was very good, and Duran was very good to shut the game down. Your high leverage guys. So lineup wise, Kyle Schwarber, he went 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. Bohm went 0 for 4 in the 2-hole. Harper went 1 for 4 with the 2 RBIs on a 2-run shot. JT 1 for 4. Marsh 2 for 4. Bader 1 for 3 with an RBI as well and a walk. Kepler 1 for 4. Sosa 2 for 4. And Stott 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly. So overall, you won 2 out of 3. So that's a very good thing right there. Then you go to today's game. Taijuan Walker had a very sluggish first inning. He threw a lot of pitches in that first inning, but then somehow managed to go 6, which is crazy. 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout on 87 pitches. Then the rest of the bullpen, Alvarado, he allowed the solo shot. Kerkering threw 3 pitches in his appearance to get the final out of the 7th. Miza, he loaded the bases in the 8th, and then Trevino gets out of that situation. For the game today, just basically this entire bottom of the 1st inning. So Edwards leads off the game, striking out, then back-to-back singles, then Lopez hits the 3-run shot to give the Marlins that 3-0 lead, then a couple of more base runners, then an RBI single, then Taijuan Walker eventually gets out of it. Top of the 2nd inning, Marsh with a walk, and then freaking Nick Castellanos with a triple, out of all things. Oh, okay. For not in the games and any of the past 2 days, he gets a triple, okay. Phillies make it a 4-1 lead. Castellanos does not come around the score, though. Top of the 3rd, the Phillies go down 1-2-3. Top of the 4th, Harper with a leadoff double does not come around the score whatsoever. Actually, Bohm grounded into a fielder's choice because Harper got caught into a rundown, so it's one of those getting mixed up with the goddamn base paths. Marsh then had a single, which would have fucking scored Harper. Then Marsh got picked off at first base because the catcher threw back and all that crap. Marsh was getting too big of a lead. That was just a very bad base running inning. It really just was. That was the stupidity of the Phillies right there. They went down 1-2-3 in the top of the 5th. Then you go top of the 6th. Trea Turner with that leadoff solo shot became 4-2. Schwarber then walked. He advanced to second base, but Harper and Bohm grounded out. Marsh with an RBI single to make it a 4-3 game, and then Castellanos flew out to deep center field. Top of the 7th inning, Stott with a 2-out walk. Turner reaches in on that throwing error, then eventually comes out of the game with the hamstring situation, and then Schwarber flies out to end that inning. He actually almost had a 3-run shot, timed the ball up way too early, and crushed it into the goddamn 3rd deck. Bottom of the 7th inning, Lopez hits his 2nd homer of the game on Alvarado, and he just completely lost his command during that at-bat. He got the first 2 guys out, and then just for some reason could not throw his off-speed stuff. Don't know why Alvarado is trying to throw curveballs. I just don't understand that. Why is he trying to throw curveballs? Just throw your sinker, throw your cutter, blah, blah, blah. And there you go. Stop trying to throw curveballs, man. Kerkering comes in, gets Hernandez to pop up on 3 pitches. Top of the 8th, Marsh with a 2-out double. Does not come around the score. Top of the 9th inning, Kepler and Romilta with leadoff walks. Stott trying to bunt. Pops up in foul territory. It was not a good decision. Bader with a little bit of unluckiness. Lines out right to the first baseman. Thankfully, no one got doubled up. Then Schwarber with his RBI single. Went up 3-0 in the count, then the pitcher worked it back to 3-2. And then Harper grounded out in a 1-2 count to end the ball game off. You lose 5-4 in the series finale, but you did take 2 of 3. Turner, he went 1 for 4 with his solo shot before coming out of the ball game. Sosa didn't get an at-bat. He got pinched hit for by Harrison Bader. Schwarber went 1 for 4 with his RBI in the 9th. Harper went 1 for 5. Bohm 0 for 4. Marsh went 3 for 3 with a walk, so we had a very good day at the plate. Think about this. Marsh is at 282 with his average. Very good. Very good. His on base is at 345. Think about it. Brandon Marsh did not have a hit in April. He's batting 282. That's how good he's been, really, for a while. So, good on him. Good on him. Castellanos, who went 1 for 4 with an RBI triple. Kepler over 3 with a walk. Marchand over 3. JT came in, he walked. Then Stott went over 3 with a walk as well. He went 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position, so that's where the game was lost at that point. But like I said, I won't kill him. I definitely won't kill him. You are now 83-60 on the season. 23 games above 500, and if you look at the standings in totality, still 7 games up on the Mets for first place in the National League East. The Mets are 4-6 in their last 10. You're 7-3 in your last 10, and now you have this huge series with the Mets upcoming. But there's also a big kicker to this as well, because you have a 4-game lead on the Dodgers for that second bye in the National League. The Dodgers have been losing a lot of ball games. I think they won today's game, if I'm not mistaken. Did they win today's game? They did. They did. So they got swept by Pittsburgh. They almost got swept by Baltimore. And think about the way they fucking lost last night. Yamamoto has a no-hitter, 2 outs in the 9th inning. He allows a solo shot to Jackson Holliday, then allows another base runner. Gets taken out of the ball game for Tanner Scott. He loads the bases up, and then Baltimore walks it off with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning to win 4-3. You can't even fucking run. Like, what the fuck? How? How does it get that bad? How did it get that bad? You got swept by Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and then you lose 2 of 3 to a bad Baltimore team, and the Phillies have this gigantic lead on them. It is fucking crazy. It is going to fucking be crazy there. They have a 4-game lead on the Dodgers, though. That is huge. And if you could take care of business with the Mets, which you need to do, you'll have the Dodgers next week in Los Angeles. And if you take care of the Mets, you go to LA and you take care of business against the Dodgers, you seal up the National League East and also probably the bye in that process. But you need to do your job. You definitely need to do your job, though. That's the problem. You got to do your job. So they have been doing their job the past couple of series. They have 3 or 4 against the Braves, 2 or 3 against Milwaukee, 2 or 3 against Miami. So they've won the last 3 series, which is good. Got to win this series against the Mets, though. At least split. At least split. Because if you split, you're still 7 games up on them. But you got to win 3 or 4, in my personal opinion. Like, I would barely take a split. But you got to win 3 or 4. But the Trea Turner injury does scare me. It really does. Because we just don't know how bad he's going to be, out for. Here we go. Rob Thompson on Trea Turner. Obviously, okay, he does not give you any answers. There's some concern there. Obviously, he's having a great season. He's a big part of the ball club. I want to keep people healthy, especially coming down the stretch here. We'll know more tomorrow. So, that doesn't sound very positive. Man, that doesn't sound positive whatsoever. Please. Here we go. Rob Thompson said Trea Turner felt a grab in his right hamstring. He'll see a doctor, and the team will know more tomorrow. Trea Turner's probably never going to be the same player this year. Man, that sucks. That sucks. Rob Thompson said he decided to bunt with Bryson Stott in the 9th with 2-1 to go for the tie because he felt the Phillies would have an advantage with the extra innings since the Marlins were in a bullpen game. That's annoying. That's annoying. That sucks for Trea Turner, though. A hamstring is not going to heal. If it's a minor one, maybe, but we don't know the grade of it. That sucks because he was having a really good year. And now possibly could be season ending for him. That's not good. That is not good. Not good, not good, not good. Not good whatsoever. We did have a voicemail after last night's ball game, which was from Sean, which we haven't heard from a while. Surprised Sean didn't call after the Eagles game, but granted that game was also ending at 1 in the morning, basically. We do have some of you guys in the chat right here as well. And if we look at the upcoming pitching matchups for this series against the Mets, because it's in a very important series, basically will decide the National League East. And think about this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 series left in the year. Season's coming to an end very, very, very quickly. 4 games against the Mets. Aaron Nola's going to go up against McLean. McLean is 4-0, and he has been very good. Obviously, he pitched against the Phillies in that series in Citi Field when 8 innings, allowed no earned runs, and struck out 6. Is he due for his first bad start? I have no idea. In theory, yes, but you don't know. And Aaron Nola has not been good. That's just saying it bluntly. He has not been good. He was not good against Milwaukee, not good against the Braves. His only good start since coming back was against Washington in that second appearance against Washington. The first start, no. So 3 or 4 starts for Nola since coming back have not been good. Tuesday, it's Ranger Suarez against Sean Manaea. And besides his game against the fucking Phillies, he has been bad since coming back from his injury. But of course, it's against the Phillies. He dominated. Then Wednesday, it's Christopher Sanchez against Clay Holmes. I don't think the Phillies faced him this year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the Phillies have seen him. No, he has not pitched against the Phillies this year. He's 11-7 with a 3.61 ERA. But the problem with Clay Holmes is he does not go deep in the ball games because why? He is a closer converted into a starter. So that's your answer. And then on Thursday, it is Jesus Luzardo against David Peterson. 9-5 with a 3.72 ERA. He has not been good in his last 2 starts. Allowed 8 earned runs in 2 innings against the Marlins, and then allowed 4 earned runs on Friday and 5 1/3 against the Reds. So we'll see. There you are, Julian, to take the negative route with the contracts. There you are. I'm just busting your balls. I'm just busting your balls. Here we go. Here's something from Jason Stark. When Trea Turner pulled a hamstring last season, he missed 6 weeks. We don't know if it's as serious as that injury, but that right hamstring just became a major X factor in the National League playoff picture. Yep. Never say never, Julian. Never say never, Julian. Never say never. Here we go. Yep, this is basically restating it. Trea Turner said, if I could have kept going, I would have. Said he hopes this is more mild than the hamstring strain that kept him out 6 weeks last year. Yeah, so there's not much more of an update there on Trea. We won't know until tomorrow. We'll not know until tomorrow. After the Mets series, you play Kansas City, then the Dodgers, then blah, 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 the rest of the season. And someone just brought up a good point right here on Twitter. Colin Nubia of 97.5 The Fanatic. He said Trea Turner was a completely different base runner after the hamstring injury last season. He stole 10 bases in 33 games before the injury and 9 bases in 88 games after. If he is available for the rest of 2025, does he still run like the weapon he's been for most of the season? Probably not. Probably not. That just sucks. I feel bad for him because he's been having such a good season. Because he's been having such an incredible season. It sucks. It sucks. What else is there? No, I don't see much on the Twitterverse. Like I said, they're not gonna provide us an update on Trea Turner until tomorrow, which is probably gonna be very heartbreaking, in my personal opinion. Not as heartbreaking as fucking Zach Wheeler's, obviously, because that was just fucking brutal. But this might be. You can't. It's like I said, you need Schwarber and Harper to fucking get out of their stretches that they're in. You really need them to get out of their stretches. And just pray that this Turner hamstring strain is not as bad as it was last year. But the fact that he came out of the game instantly kind of makes me scared. Just not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. We do have the call from Sean here, but it's kind of not relevant now. He did bring up the Eagles game. I do see here in the transcript that he talked about sweeping the series, obviously. So obviously that's not relevant anymore. Because he wanted them to sweep. But we'll play it. We'll play it just to get some points in here from him.
So it's been a while for me making these calls. So first off, better late than never. Go Birds. As for today, I mean, this is atypical how the Phillies have to win. The offense isn't going to give you much, but it gave Luzardo enough to work with early, and he does what you should do if you're a quality pitcher against an inferior opponent. You've got to make it stand up, and he pitched really well. The bullpen did its job, and we can't overlook the 2 throws that JT made to nail the 2 guys trying to steal bases. Those were huge. My only complaint, there needs to be a law with the Phillies offense. Anytime it's first and second and less than 2 out and Alec Bohm comes to the plate, please automatically send the runners on the first pitch. I can't stand knowing that he's going to hit into a double play before he actually does it. You, me, and the Phillies fan in Topeka, Kansas can see that. I wish Rob Thompson could as well.
That is true.
You got a series win, but I want the sweep tomorrow. I don't know what Taiwan's going to provide you, but this is a team he might be able to handle. I want as much momentum as you can garner going into that Mets series. The National League East should be wrapped up this week. No excuses. Go out there and keep getting wins.
So that end call of the call was definitely pointless. It was not relevant anymore. I'm sorry, Sean. I'm very sorry, Sean. Oh, I just got a terrible update. This is not Phillies related, but it does revolve around my fucking fantasy team. God, I drafted Puka Nacua, and now he's being evaluated for a concussion. No. Come on, man. My fantasy team is fucking shot. I just lost. Who else did I... Who was the guy on the... Was it Xavier Worthy that just got injured on the Chiefs, too? I have 2 of those guys. I have both of them. They're both fucking hurt. Why? Why? God fucking damn. God damn. That's definitely on the annoying side. Jesus. That's annoying. That's definitely not annoying. Fuck. My fucking fantasy team is shot. Definitely shot. Definitely gonna have to make some major adjustments for next week and make some adjustments. Holy shit. What's my fantasy team? I kind of look at this now. I'm sorry for this, but I have to because I just got that update about Puka Nakua, and I'm like, why? Why? Yep, Puka Nakua's out in his game. Joy. Damn, damn. That's unfortunate. Of course, Justin Fields is on my bench, and he had a really good game against Pittsburgh. A fucking course. A fucking course. Ah, joy. That's great. That is fucking fantastic. Oh yeah, that's my life right now. Wow, that sucks. That really sucks. I don't think there. Somewhat now, people are trying to like go up. I know. Jack Fritz brought this up as well. Now Ben Silver of on just Twitter that also covers Phillies just says, let's just say the worst case scenario just occurred with Trea Turner and his season is over. Is there any chance the Phillies call up Aiden Miller? He'd be eligible for the postseason as a replacement if Turner is on the IL. He also wants to add the Phillies and many other organizations, and around MLB will sometimes let high helium prospects bypass AAA altogether. Most recently and notably with the Phillies with Johan Rojas and with a fast-tracking Serafi Dominguez. But probably not going to happen since even though he's been on an absolute tear for like he's been very good in AAA for August. If I look at Aiden Miller's stats, his month of August, he's been very good, to say the least. He got his average all the way up to 259, where how bad it's been. That's how good he was in this month of August. Can I see like his game logs for August just to see where it's at? So if I go to August just to see where he was at, very good, very good. In totality, he batted .348 with a .454 on base and a .629 slug in August. How many home runs did he have? He had 4 home runs, 16 RBIs. How many stolen bases did he have? Because I know he likes to steal bases. He had 13 stolen bases. And so far in the month of September, he continues to be very hot. He's batting .400 with a .625 on base and a .667 slugging with 1 home run. He has 1 double. He has 6 hits and 15 at bats. He's just on a tear. He's on a tear. He's got 1 stolen base, blah, blah, blah. He's got caught stealing 3 times, so that sucks. But overall, yeah, he's been good for the past month and a half. Is that worthy of him being called up? Probably not. Even though he's been very good, this is the best he's looked in AA the entire year. So I don't know where that's going to take everybody. So we'll see. We'll just see. But no, I don't see Aiden Miller being called up for that factor. You probably see Edmundo Sosa take over shortstop. Somebody will get called up in the process to go onto the bench. I'm not sure who would that be. It would probably be Otto Kemp. I'm not sure who else it would be. It would probably be Otto Kemp. Or maybe they do take the risk with Aiden Miller just because of how hot he is. But do they want to do that disservice to him? I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. Let's go to the chat before we end it off. Everyday Phillies. Amadeo, thank you for the show. You're welcome, Everyday Phillies. You're welcome. Franco, they did what they had to do, and at least the Mets lost as well. Exactly. Austin, Philly, please win the series against the Mets. Really need Schwarber to show up at home. The top of the lineup looks a lot less dangerous without Trea. And please never bat Bowman the cleanup spot ever again. Citizens Bank Park should ban the Phillies Karen from the stadium. I don't even know. She might be from Miami at this fucking rate. Who knows? I don't even know. We definitely found our star outfield lineup. There is little reason to put Castellanos out there. Again, it's funny. The only people I see on Facebook clamoring for his return are the ladies. I am praying that Trea's injury isn't serious. We'll see. The fact that he came out of the lineup very instantly is a little concerning. And big thank you to Cincinnati for helping us reach our magic number. If they can't win 3 at home against the Mets, then they weren't in the NLDS at home anyway. Starting pitching has to be excellent too. Exactly. Also, who has an update on Walker Buehler? Is he entering the rotation soon? Walker or Nola are getting replaced at this point. I think Nola sits. What they're doing with Walker Buehler, so he had his first minor league start, and I think he went like 3 innings or something like that, struck out 5, allowed 1 earned run or something like that. His first start is expected to be actually after the Mets series against Kansas City at home. So that's when he'll get called up and all that stuff. And they're planning to do a 6-man rotation when Buehler comes in to give some guys an extra day of rest, which does make sense for like guys like Sanchez, Luzardo, and Ranger. Maybe it makes sense for Aaron Nola too. I'm not entirely sure, but that's their plan right now, is to go to a 6-man rotation. Yep, took him 6 weeks to recover from his hamstring injury. Now that we're going to play the Mets without Trea, yep. Yeah, the bye race will come down to these next series. Not worried about Miami and Minnesota, etc. Oh yeah, yeah. Still don't think Kyle is getting re-signed. I don't want it to be true, but it's getting more clear every day. Bad stretches from the core of this team lead me to believe that's the case. Who knows? Harper's batting 190 since the All-Star break with runners in scoring position. Is he? I have no idea if that's even... That might be true, honestly. He has been bad with runners in scoring position. So right now, Trea only has he's a little sore. So I'm not sure what that means. So who knows? No consistent clutch gene is preventing itself now. If you take a convincing 3 or 4 against the Mets, I will definitely be pleased. Yeah. What's the Phillies' magic number right now? What's their magic number? I know after yesterday. Well, no, actually, I don't know after yesterday. 13. So their magic number is down to 13. And if you beat the Mets against the Mets, that's technically dropping it by 2. So say if you win 2 of 4, that's 4 off the magic number, so that would lower it to 9. Then winning 3 would be 6 off the magic number, which would lower it to 7. So yeah, that's what it is there. Yeah. Well, yeah. So the magic number is 13. Magic number is 13, and I did see like a something about there, like the Phillies, like for like scenarios that's like the only way for like the Mets to win the NL East at this rate or something like that. I think it was like if the Phillies go exactly 500 for the rest of the season, the Mets have to go like on an obnoxious. They have to go like how many games are left in the season actually? 4, 7, 10, 13, 6, 19. They would have to go like I think it was they would have to go on like an absurd amount of winning basically. Like a very unsustainable winning stretch basically. That's the only way the Mets I think it was like I'm trying to remember like what would the Phillies have to if the Phillies went 500 the rest of the way, the Mets would have to go like since there's 19 games left. Like 15-4 or something like that, 14-5. Like that's the stretch the Mets would have to go on. And who do the Mets play after Philadelphia? Because I know they still play some decent teams. They play Texas, who have the best starting rotation or pitching and overall in baseball. They play the Padres, who have been slumping. They play Washington, who they have struggled against. They play the Cubs, which would be huge for the wild card spot in terms of teams that still need to clinch their playoff spots. So that would still be a huge series. And then Miami, who they've also struggled against. So no series for the Mets going into the rest of the season is easy. It isn't. It isn't. From what I've said about earlier about the Dodgers, it seems like the second seed is well within reach as long as we don't completely you do not want to the bed. Basically, yeah. Yeah, because right now, after everything here, so let me go back to the standings and just look at everything. Did the Dodgers win their game? Yeah, they did. Okay, so the Dodgers, yeah, we're 4 games up on the Dodgers. 4 games. 4 games up on the Dodgers after today, it looks like. Yeah. Yeah, 4 games up on them. They're so far, if you just look at the entire league standings, Milwaukee's obviously in first place. We're 5.5 behind Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's won 3 in a row, so they swept their last series. The Cubs are 7.5 behind Milwaukee, and the Dodgers are 9.5 behind Milwaukee. So We're 4 games ahead of them in terms of that. And the Cubs obviously can't get the bye because they're 7.5 behind the Milwaukee. So there's no way of them getting into the first place of the NL Central, bearing a major collapse by Milwaukee, which is not going to happen. Yeah, four games above the Dodgers for that second seed. The Padres continue to lose. They're 3-7 in their last 10, so they continue to slump. The Reds, let's see what the wild card standings are like now after that series. The Reds worked themselves back into it. So far it is a 3-way tie with the Reds, Diamondbacks, and the Giants for the last team on the outside looking in against the Mets. So the Mets are ahead 4 games of each of those teams. So it's definitely gonna be interesting, to say the least. It definitely will be. The Diamondbacks have actually been hot. They're 2 in their last 10. They won 4 in a row. The Giants, after their very hot stretch, I think they lost 2 of 3 against St. Louis. So these teams are hot. So it definitely will be a very interesting end to the season if the Mets continue to slump. I guess you could say that. But Phillies have to do their job first. Phillies have to do their job first. That is the most important thing right there. Phillies need to do their job. And also, bearing also collapsed, the Yankees are 2 games out of first place in the AL East. So the Blue Jays have actually been slumping for a little bit. Interesting. What's the American League wild card looking like? Yankees are in the first wild card spot. Red Sox are in the first. Imagine another wild card series between the Yankees and the Red Sox. That would be crazy. And then the Mariners have the last wild card spot by a game and a half. So that Texas series against the Mets would be important for Texas. Who's Texas playing upcoming? Who is Texas playing? They got Milwaukee. Oof. They got Milwaukee. They got the Mets. They got the Astros, Miami, Minnesota, and Cleveland. That is a tough stretch for Texas, no doubt. So we'll see. It's just the fact that Texas's pitching is very good. Their offense is not good. I think they also just lost Adolis Garcia, if I'm not mistaken. So, who knows? But yeah, it's a good series win for the Phillies. Definitely scared about Trea Turner's injury though. So we won't find out about that until tomorrow. So we'll see. Acquiring Soto and then missing the playoffs would be the funniest thing of all time. Yeah, that would be LOL Mets. That definitely would be. But nothing is guaranteed yet. The Phillies do got to do their job this week. You got to take 3 of 4 at least against this Mets team. Split. I would be unhappy with a split, but I wouldn't be pissed off mightily. But you need to win 3 of 4. But losing Trea Turner does make it more difficult. That means Schwarber and Harper need to step up. So we'll see where it goes, boys. But appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight, or today actually, and we'll be back for this Mets series this week. So yeah, and maybe if there's an update on Jalen Carter tomorrow, we probably will find out about that tomorrow if he does get suspended or something like that, which would be crazy. But maybe we'll have something, just an update video on that, but maybe not, or no, we'll see. But obviously a recap on the Mets series this weekend, or this week, obviously, so we'll see where that goes. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK